Hey guys, it's Kat and I'm back today to do my May project pan updates. This is the hashtag Team Project Pan. So it's a year-long full face rolling project pan, which sounds like a lot of words that don't make sense if you don't follow project panning. But essentially it is a way to start targeting makeup that's either getting old or that I don't want anymore, to use it up. And I try to have sort of a product from each category in my project pan, so I can sort of use it all on my face most days when I am wearing makeup. And then when I use something up, I will roll something new in. So by the end of the year, I hope to use a lot of products up, sort of as a way to streamline my makeup collection that is out of control. I've got too much stuff. I don't need that amount of stuff, so I want to use stuff before it gets too old. So that's the whole premise of this. There are a lot of people that are doing this type of project pan or something very similar. So if you want to see more videos like this, click on the hashtag and you'll see people that do a similar type of thing. All right, so this is the May update, and I believe we're 1 month off the next quarterly refresh, which is the opportunity to take things out that I'm not really using and replace them with things that I will start using or that I hope to use. And there's a couple of items in here that I think I'll get rid of or take out of this project next month, but I'll keep them in for now. Now, as a bit of a background, in April, I had a baby, so I have a 1-month-old baby, and I was expecting to make no progress on my project pan in May, but surprisingly, I have made some progress. Now, even though I've had a baby, I've luckily had a partner home for a month on paternity leave. So I do give myself about 10 minutes in the morning with a coffee after I've fed baby, after I've settled baby. Sometimes this is at like 1 p.m. I have my coffee and I have something to eat for breakfast, and I put on a little bit of makeup, just as a way to sort of make me feel more alive and more awake. And if people pop by or if I need to go to the shops or go to a medical appointment, I sort of feel like I'm human. So there is some basic makeup that I have been using in here, and then some products that I have not touched at all. Now, you might be looking at my face today and being like, that is not a face of someone that's just had a baby. We've just been filming beauty news, which is why I'm wearing an excessive amount of makeup, but I'm looking very much forward to taking it off straight after this. So what I'll start with is the products I've used up, and I'll show you what I'm actually replacing them with. I might then go into the products that I haven't made any progress on so we can get them out of the way. And then I'll talk to you about the progress that I've made on the other products. All right, so again, I wasn't expecting to make much progress on these products. There were like maybe one product that I was expecting to use up, maybe two, but I've actually used up, I think it's 5. So the first one that I used up that I sort of went through pretty quickly was the powder that I introduced. I think this was, when did I introduce it? I actually introduced this at the start of April, so I went through it pretty quickly. It's my Shiseido. This was the Radiant powder. Now, there wasn't actually too much in it, and I did use it up pretty quickly. This was a product that I did use pretty much most days because I do have oily skin. So even if I wasn't really wearing any foundation or concealer, sometimes I'd put a little bit of concealer on, but I'd use powder anyway just to sort of keep my face quite matte. So it's one that I used up pretty quickly. So there'll be a photo on the screen of where this was at last check-in, but it only took me 2 months to actually use it up, or a month and a half. So this contains 6 grams of product. Wasn't much. I use a lot of powder. It is what it is. So I will be rolling in a new powder, and I may as well talk about that now, shall we? So I'm rolling in this Innisfree. I'm not sure if you can see with this harsh studio lighting. I was going to film this before I did beauty news, but I didn't get a chance to, and now it's very dark. So this is the No Sebum Blur powder. So I've only used this maybe 2 or 3 times. This does contain, all right, there's nothing on the packaging, but according to the Innisfree website, this contains 5 grams of product. So I have weighed this. Again, I've only used it a couple of times. This does have one of those little sifters with the holes in it. It looks completely full. But if the Shiseido powder has 6 grams, this has 5 grams. I'll probably use it in the next couple of months. So yeah, that's what I'm adding in. I'm only adding it in because it's one that I don't particularly love, and I can use it. So why not? One thing that I did predict that I'll use up is actually the serum from The Ordinary. So this is the hyaluronic acid 2% plus B5. So essentially when I introduced it, it was up to here, and then last month it was down to there. So I sort of expected that based on the history of usage that I'd be able to use it up in this month, and I have. It only took me about a week to use up. So that's that. I will talk about these products and what I think about them and whether I would repurchase them in my empties, which will be coming up whenever I have the ability to film that. But I actually am not going to swap in any skincare right now because I was looking at my skincare last night. There's nothing in particular that I really want to focus on, and I think I might take the next month just to figure out what I want to focus on next. Also, I've got 2 body products in here, so I thought that that's sort of enough for now. I also used up my lip gloss. Now, I was expecting this. So this is my Colourpop lip gloss in the shade Moonchild. This is almost completely empty. I'll put this torch on. I'm not sure if you can see through that, but that is like completely empty. I've used up, there's not much left in it at all. It's pretty much just product around the sides and a tiny bit down the bottom that I can't access. But I was predicting that I'd use this up during this month, so I did actually introduce another lip gloss preemptively. So I'll talk about the progress on this very soon. But because I have had a baby and I haven't been wearing lip products much, because I haven't been wanting to get like lip gloss and stuff all over my baby because I do kiss my baby a lot, I've been sticking more to lip balms. So this I actually used up a lot later in the month than I was expecting. I thought I was going to use this up in about a week, and it actually was only in the last week I actually focused on this quite a lot to be like, I need to use it up. So yeah, it's done. I've already replaced it, but it took me a while to use that up. So the lip balm that I was focusing on quite a bit was actually my lip balm from my project pan. This is the Sephora watermelon lip balm. So you can see that this is completely used up. I did dig into it a little bit, not too much though. I could have digged into it more if I wanted to, but I'll have a comparison on the screen of where I was up to last month, but you can see that is completely wound up and it's done. Now what I'm planning on introducing in the place of that lip balm is actually a lip balm from NARS. This is a pretty fancy lip balm. It is the Afterglow lip balm in the shade Orgasm. So this is tinted. Now normally I would sort of use this sparingly and I'd be like, it's an expensive lip balm. It does feel really nice on the lips, but because the color is too pink for me, it actually looks quite annoyingly pink. I don't like light pink or sort of like muted pink lip products. If I'm going to go a pink, it's going to be like a Bam sort of red pink. So for me, this is not a color that I like to wear too much, but I do like the formula. So I thought I'll use this, I'll target this in my project pan. It's got that much left. So yeah, I haven't used it too much. I've been using it a little bit in the last week just to see if I was happy to incorporate in my project pan. And I am, so that's where we're starting with, but I'll focus on that from now on. And the last thing I used up is actually the Illamasqua lip pencil. Now, I was really close to finishing this up last time. I'll have a comparison on the screen where I was up to. I didn't use this too much, but when I was visiting family or family were coming over and I was wanting to target the lip gloss, one thing I would do was put a little bit of this on first and then the lip gloss over the top. And when I sharpened it last time, the little lead in it popped out. So there's nothing left in that. It's just an empty shell of a pencil. So I was surprised that I finished it up when I did, but I was also quite impressed that I was managing to do that while not using it that much. So I am actually introducing a new lip pencil. I don't have really high hopes about finishing this, but I thought I'm going to give it at least a month to try it out. And I don't really think I'll get that much usage, but I'm going to try anyway. This is actually by Colourpop and it is this sort of dark nude color. So the reason why I want to use it up is because I'm not sure if you can tell, but the lead has broken. So it sort of just slides out. It's also one of my oldest lip pencils from Colourpop. I actually have look, my lip pencil collection isn't out of hand. I have some newer nudes from Colourpop that I bought probably in the last year. This is fairly old. This has been kicking around for a couple of years now, so it can go. I also don't use it too much. And then I've also got a lot of bright, so like red or pink or whatever happens to be berry lip pencils, and I don't really want to target those because I can't use them on a daily basis. I'm wearing a red lip now because I was filming, but lately I haven't been wearing bright colors, so I find them really hard to pan. So this is the only nude that's sort of in my collection that's getting old, is broken. and I want to give a shot. Now, if I don't use this up organically, like if I don't start using it most days and seeing progress on it, I will probably just declutter it because it is probably quite old. You can also see that the color is quite dark. So even though it is a cool color, it's a nice color, it's not one that I can sort of put all over my lips like the Illamasqua one as like a everyday nude. This one ends up looking quite dark and quite bold and quite statement. But I do feel like this could be a color I can incorporate. We're in winter now in Australia, so this is sort of like a fun sort of winter color, but we'll see if I get any use out of it. If I don't, I'm just gonna probably take it out next month and declutter it. Oh, I've actually got another one that I totally forgot about. So this is, I think I've got six empties, which is crazy. So this is my Benefit Brow Contour Pro. So I used up the 2 brow colors. There's 2 highlight colors and 2 brow colors. The other month I used up the light shade, and recently I've been targeting the dark shade, and this month I used it up. So what I've been doing is, look, if I am wearing makeup, which most days I try to wear a little bit of makeup, just again, to make myself feel more normal, I will do brows, I'll do a little bit of concealer and powder and some mascara. That's sort of like the standard that I like to do, just to make myself feel more awake, and it only takes me 5 minutes. So brows I have been focusing on, and I have used this up, so it doesn't actually wind up any further, so that is done. Now the pencil that I have been targeting since using that up, because I did use that up actually a couple of weeks ago now, I found this pencil in my sort of handbag, makeup bag, which is a funny one because I don't really use the makeup in my handbag. It's sort of one thing, it's like an emergency sort of stash. You know, if I smear my brow off accidentally, or if I smear my face and I need to use concealer, I generally have lip product, concealer, brow product, maybe a black pencil liner in there or something, and a powder. So that's what I sort of keep. But sometimes I'll look through it and go, geez, I haven't used that product in about a year. So this is definitely my oldest brow product that I've got in my collection, and I thought it's about time I target it. So this is from Eye of Horus, and it's Ultimate Brow Define Pencil in the shade Nile, which is a medium dark. So this is a micro brow pencil, and I've been using it quite a lot over the last couple of weeks. Now, when I actually took progress photos of this, just so I can see where I'm starting from, I realized that I've got like nothing in there. To be fair, when I probably started using this 2 weeks ago, there's a lot more. But I'll have a close up on the screen of how much product is in here. So this is a really easy product to use up. No doubt by next month it will be gone and I can incorporate something else as well. But I thought, look, I'm targeting it. I'm introducing it. All right, onto the products that I've made absolutely no progress on. I have not touched these at all in the last month. So I'm not even going to show you project shots. Progress shots, because there's no point. I've got the Huda Tan Tour. This is a cream bronzer contour product. I have not used this for 2 months. It's not very conducive to the makeup style that I've been wearing lately. Unlike my current face, this is a rare occasion. Yeah, I've not used this, so it has stayed the same for 2 months. I do see myself probably taking it out at the quarterly refresh. I did hit pan on it. I did make some progress on it earlier this year, and maybe, you know, later in the year when it's a bit warmer and I have more of a tan and this looks less bold, I might bring it back in, but right now I'm probably going to just take it out of my project next month because I've made no progress on it. I've also made no progress on my Huda lip product. So this is a liquid lipstick. So that is the progress down the side. So when I introduced it, it was up to there. And I did make quite a lot of progress the month before, but I haven't even marked it this month because I've not used it once. So yeah, not really a color that I've been really reaching for. Again, I've been mainly hitting up the lip glosses and tinted lip balms or just lip balms. So yeah, I'm going to see how I go with this. I'll give it 1 more month. It will pair nicely with the lip pencil I've introduced. So hopefully I can wear those at least a couple of times. But otherwise I'll take it out because I'm not using it. The last thing that I have made no progress on is this Ulta Beauty eyeshadow. So the shade is Bronze Babe. I just haven't used it. So there's no point doing any update on that. I don't recall using it once. So yeah, I'd like to hit pan on this by the end of the year, and it's a nice color that I really enjoy. Just, yeah, it hasn't been something I've been reaching for. While we're here, I may as well talk about this Illamasqua eyeshadow as well, because even though I have used it a couple of times, I've used it so sparingly that there's not much going on. I think if I have used this, I've used it a little bit as a brow powder. It's a little bit too warm, like a little bit too red toned for my brows, but occasionally I have tried to, delve into it in multiple ways. There is a little tiny area that I'm focusing on, so maybe there is a little bit of progress from last time, but it's so minor that it's just not even worth discussing really. Two other things that I have used, but you can't see any visible progress, is my eyeliner. I'm wearing this today. Again, I don't really wear much eyeliner over the last month, but when I have worn a when I have worn a wing eyeliner, I've been reaching for this one. So it's a MAC Fluidline in Past Twilight. I am making some progress, but again, it's not something that you can really see, so it's really hard to show you. Same goes for my Benefit Brow. So this is the brow pomade. This is the shade 3.5. I do use this quite often along with the brow pencil, but again, you can't really see the progress, so you're boring. All right, let's get on to things where I have made some progress. Firstly, I've got my other Illamasqua eyeshadow. Now, I have been wearing this quite a lot because what I tend to do on a daily basis is I might just chuck on this pencil Jouer sort of cream eyeshadow crayon. I'll put that on and I'll sort of blend it out, and then I'll put this in the crease. Now, you can see I've hit pan on it. I've actually hit some pan on it, which I'm very happy about because it means that I can now use it as a reference point and try to increase the pan size. So you'll see on the screen where I was up to last month, I had not hit pan. I had a little dent, but now I've officially hit pan, which is really, really good. So that's encouraging me to use it more. So I'm happy to see that. I've also probably made some good progress on this Jouer stick. So this is the shade Rose Gold. I'll have a comparison on the screen. It's just a little nub now. I use this sort of as the base of all my eyeshadow looks. So today I'm actually using it as a base under the Naked Smoky palette. Blast from the past. But on daily basis, I'll put this all over. I'll follow it up with another shimmery eyeshadow or that Illamasqua matte eyeshadow. Sometimes I layer that over the top of this just to make sort of like a pinky browny sort of satin look. So yeah, hopefully you can see that there is progress on that. But I feel like that's all the way wound up. There's not much in there anymore. All right, I want to talk about my hair product. I was really tempted to introduce a new dry shampoo into my project preemptively, but I thought, no, I'm going to test some dry shampoos, figure out which one I want to focus on. But I am so close to using this up. Now, dry shampoo has been a must-have because I don't wash my hair too often. Again, I've got a newborn. And it's very hard to spend a lot of time in the shower. So dry shampoo I've been going crazy with. What I sort of do is spray a lot of it in my hair before I go to bed. I sleep on it. The next day you sort of wake up with non-greasy hair. So I've been using a shit ton of this. I was expecting to use this up by this check-in. And I was like, do I delay it by a couple of days? No, I've got makeup on. I'll do this today. It is what it is. And then I'll just, probably use it up in the next couple of days and figure out which one I want to introduce next. So I did introduce this last month and it was at 111.49 grams. And now it's at 59.79 grams. So I've used a shit ton of it. And I can tell you from finishing one of these earlier in the year that the packaging itself is about 53, 54 grams. So I've only got about 5 or 6 grams of actual product in here. And if over the last month I've used 50 odd grams, I will use that up very fast. So this is nearly done, but not quite there. Oh, another thing I made some crazy progress on that I introduced last month, and I'm really surprised I've made this much progress. The Nabla concealer. So this is the close-up concealer in the shade Light Peach. I was expecting concealers to last forever because concealers that I've introduced in the past have taken me months to finish. But this one is so clear. Like the tube, you can see through it. Again, I'll put the torch on. So I'm not too sure if you can see, but that is pretty much empty. You can see the wand all the way through it. So I've scraped the sides really clean. I've used so much of this, it's ridiculous. While I'm here as well, I thought I'd just show you the lip balm again, the Colourpop lip balm, so you can see how much I've used up. There's virtually nothing left in it, which is why I'm considering it done. So again, I was really surprised at how much I've used this. Essentially what I've been doing is sometimes I only use concealer, and sometimes I do it under my eyes. Other times, because I do have redness on my cheeks and on my chin and around my nose, what I'll just do is sort of use this as a foundation. So I grab some, if I can, I'll put a little bit on my T-zone, under my eyes, just on my chin, and then I'll get a buffing brush and I'll just buff it in like a foundation. So that's how I've been using this a lot. And clearly I've nearly used it up. So I do have weights of this, but what I was going to say is that what I'll do now is take the stopper out, because there is product around the top and it'll help me get a bit more product down the bottom. But I feel like by next month or even next week, I feel like this will be done. So this only contains 4 mils of product. And when I introduced this last time, it was at 34.11 grams. And now it's at 31.57 grams. So I've used a few grams of it, and there's only a few mils of it. So I have used most of it, and I will, try to finish it up by next time. What I have decided to do, because last time when I introduced this, I mentioned that I actually wanted to use up my Maybelline Fit Me concealer, because it's the one that's been open the longest, and I couldn't find it. Well, I have found it, so it is here. And I've decided that because I like using concealer as a foundation instead of using foundation all over, I just put concealer where I need it, blend it out, and I'm good to go. I've decided to preemptively introduce this as well, because I feel like the Nabla one will be done pretty soon, so I can then move on to this one. So I have weighed this to begin with, and we can just keep track of it. It sort of looks like if you stand it up, it settles down to here, but I haven't stood it up for very long, so we'll see. Probably the last thing that I've made some decent progress on is actually my Bucks Fizz body conditioner. So this is body conditioner. It's like a shower. It's like a conditioner for your body that you put on after you've washed, and I use this most times. You can see the marking there. So I started up here last month and I'm now down to around there. I really like this product. I love the scent of it. You can use quite a lot of it. It's quite nourishing. And I shower. I've been showering once or twice a day, so I've been using it quite a lot, as you can tell. So I feel like next check-in, this will be done. I'll be able to introduce a new body product. Let's just get on to other things. Talking about Lush, I've got my Once Upon a Time body lotion. I have not been using as much of this. This one is really strongly scented, and I don't love the scent as much as the Bucks Fizz, but I have been, using it a bit. Surprisingly, I've been using it. I probably used it, I don't know, I want to say half a dozen times, if not more. And I am quite generous when I do use it, but surprisingly, this tub must be quite big because it's not going down as fast as I thought it would. But I'll stick with that. Yeah, it's a bit of a strong scent that I don't love too much. All right, the finishing spray that I introduced last month is the Shiramura Skin Perfector in Shobu. And as you can see, last month it was here. This month it is down. I don't know if you can see that mark. It's a purple mark that's the same color as my nail polish at the moment. So I have been using it a little bit, but not heaps. Again, it's not a step that I sort of remember to do. It's a sort of step that I do when I wear a full face of makeup, but lately I've been using sort of like just a little bit of makeup, so it's not a step that I sort of remember, but it is a really nice mist. And sometimes I'm at my computer and I'm like, oh, I just want to be like, ch-ch-ch-ch. So that's how I've been using it up, is just sometimes to like refresh my skin. All right, you'll see on the screen where my bronzer was at last month. This is what it looks like this month. I don't actually know if I've made heaps of progress. I didn't look at the photo of this before I filmed this. So yeah, hopefully you can see a bit of a difference. I have been trying to work away at the pan. I have been wearing a bit of bronzer, not too much. I use it like every other time I wear makeup. So not as much as I used to, but hopefully there's a little bit of progress. With my blush palette from Tarte, again, I don't think I've made heaps of progress on this, but hopefully the pans are getting a little bit bigger. I don't wear blush every time I do makeup. I don't wear highlighter every time I do makeup, but occasionally just to feel a little bit more alive, I do. I'll zoom in and we can compare them to the photos from last time. All right, so I haven't been using this side too much this month. Maybe I've used a highlighter a little bit. I have mixed this blush with one from the bottom part, but this is the area that I was focusing on the most previously, but I've sort of been switching a little bit to this side. So hopefully you can see that the highlighter pan has been getting bigger. I don't know if that's the case, but I have been using it a little bit. So when I do use highlighter, it's generally this. Also, hopefully you can see that this blush, maybe this design on the pan has been worn away a lot more, because this is the blush I've been using the most out of this whole palette over the last month. Sometimes I use this as like a bronzer and blush in one step, which is a lot quicker than using blush and bronzer, because I've been lazy. So products that I can use 2 in 1 is what I've been liking. But lately also I've been mixing this with this shade. So it makes a nice sort of peachy bronze color, whereas this leans quite pink on its own. So yeah, hopefully you can see some progress on those two, but I'm not too sure. All right, on to base products. We'll talk about my primer. This is the Mecca Cosmetica Illuminating Primer. One thing I did do is I started marking it on the side. So this is where it's up to now, because I've noticed that it does settle so I can sort of see through it, whereas I didn't realize that when I first introduced it and it was completely full. But I did weigh this, so the weight will be on the screen. I've pretty much made over 4 grams of progress. So I do try to use this when I can. It's sort of like an extra skincare step, but you know, it is what it is. But the progress has slowed down slightly. I think I made around 6 grams of progress last time, 4 grams-ish this time. So I'm still making progress, but not as good as I used to. With my foundations, so I've been sort of mixing these two, and the progress has slowed down a little bit, so similar to the primer. And that's simply because I don't wear them every day, and sometimes I wear just the concealer. So I've been making more progress on the concealer, less progress on these, but still some progress. Right now on this Missha Perfect BB Cream, you can see that, hopefully, I don't know if you can see, but I can see through this area now. So that is sort of almost completely empty up there. So I have made about 6 grams of so I have used nearly 6 grams of product of this, whereas last month it was more like 10 grams. So I've slowed down a bit, but I'm still making some decent progress. When it comes to the Hourglass Vanish Liquid Foundation, you can see the marks here. So again, I introduced it up here. Last month was a blue. This month is the purple. So I'm making decent progress, not heaps and heaps, but we're still making some significant progress, which is really good. Still looks like it's going to take me probably 3 months to finish using this up, but we'll keep at it. All right, I'm going to have to show you on the screen where this lip balm, this tinted lip balm from Elizabeth Arden was up to last time. I was hoping to get this done by this check-in, but I think I had this in a bag and I lost where I put it. I didn't know where I put it. So I haven't been using it as much, but I'm trying to make it more effort to use it. I could also probably use this because the color is quite brown, so I can probably use it with the lip liner. So I'm hoping to sort of pair it, but hopefully by next month this will be gone because there is such little amount left, which is very good. I didn't make much progress on my perfume this month. I pretty much marked it right under the last mark. And that's also probably being a little bit generous. I actually think the mark that it settles is probably just above the mark that I've made. So I've only used this a handful of times. Normally I'll use this perfume every single day, and I use quite a lot of it. But since having a baby and holding a baby a lot, I really don't want baby to be bombarded with Brittney Spears' Midnight Fantasy, so I haven't been using this as much as I used to. I have just not been using fragrance as much as I used to because I just don't think it's a nice way to bombard my baby. So I only really use this maybe once a week if I'm going out and about and baby's going to be in a pram a lot and I'm not really fussed about, overwhelming baby with such strong perfume. So I probably only use this a handful of times. So the marking is more just like, there's some progress, but really there's not much. Same thing sort of goes for my Suva liquid highlighter. So this is the Liquid Chrome Illuminating Drops. Again, I've sort of marked it right under the last mark. I've added this into my foundation maybe 4 or 5 times, but realistically not much. Again, this is a product that may be on the chopping block next month if I'm not making much progress on it, which I don't think I will be. I have tried to use this on its own as a highlighter and it sort of looks very heavy on my face and it does lift my foundation if I sort of blend it in too much. So I might actually try this on like with very low makeup. So the days I'm wearing just a bit of concealer on my T-zone, I'm going to see how this goes on my cheeks. But as it is, I don't love this. So it's something that I'd either probably declutter or give away to someone else because I really don't use it. So we'll see how we go next month, but this might be on the chopping block because I just don't really use it. Okay, some eyeshadows that I've made some progress on. I think this one, which is from Wet n Wild, hopefully you can see that there is quite a lot of pan there. I'll show you where I was up to last month. Hopefully if I hold it like this, there we go, you can see it a bit better. I have been trying to use this, but it's quite firm in the pan, very hard to pick up. So I think if this was easier to pick up and a little bit softer, I would have made more progress on it. So what I wanted to do was show it to you at this stage, and then I'm thinking of repressing it. So I'm going to break it up and repress it in the middle and press it a little bit softer so I can pick up more product with my brush, because right now I really have to agitate the pan to get any product, and that's sort of frustrating and that stops me from using it. So I feel like by now I should have used it up, but it's just, yeah, it's very, very firm and tightly pressed in there. So I'm going to break it up and see how we go next time. And I've also been using my Colourpop Super Shock Shadow a lot. I introduced this last month. There's not much, you can see a dent there. So last month it was pretty much, I'd used it only a handful of times. And this time around you can see the dent, but hopefully we'll hit pan on it very soon. All right, last three things are things I just need to report in on the weight. So the Bite Beauty lip gloss, this is the Salted Caramel lip gloss. I, again, introduced this last month preemptively, thinking that I'd use a Colourpop one up pretty quickly, and then it ended up being I didn't. So I didn't use this too many times. I had this in my handbag, and when I didn't have access to the Colourpop one, I'd use this. So there's very little progress on it. So this was at 29.76 grams when I introduced it, and now it's at 29.61. So a little bit of progress, but not much. But now that I've used up the Colourpop one, I should be hitting this one up a lot more. With my Benefit Brow Setting Gel, this is the 24-hour brow setter. Again, I've only used this a couple of times, not too much. It's not really, I haven't been wearing full face of makeup, so I haven't really been needing to set my brows too much. So this was at 16.09 grams and now it's 16.01. So half a gram I used. All right, and the last thing is my MAC mascara. So this is the False Lashes mascara. I've made a little bit of progress on this. This is one of the products that I have been consistently using throughout the month. Still not as much as last month. I think I just haven't been layering it up as much or whatever it happens to be. So last month I made about 0.8 grams of progress, and this month I've made about 0.6. So close, but not quite. Very, very slow going. Again, this might be something that I'll take out next check-in at the refresh because it's getting old. I've had it open for a while. It's fine. It's fine to use. It's not an amazing mascara. It's not a crap mascara. It's just a mascara. But because it is getting quite old, I'll decide if I want to keep going with it until it dries out or if I'm happy to give it up. I'll make that decision next month. All right, so that is my Project Pan update for the month of May. We'll see how I go in June. I think it's going to be a similar sort of thing where some of the really bold makeup I just don't wear, but when it comes to the brow product or just a wash of eyeshadow or mascara, I do get progress. But when it comes to liquid lipsticks or, strong perfumes, I just am not using it. So we'll see how it goes, but I feel like I've made some really good progress this month despite the circumstances and not thinking I'd make any progress. So I'm very proud of myself, but hopefully next month I'll at least be able to use up like this concealer and this tinted lip balm, so I can be using up and finishing a product every month because that's sort of my goal this year. And I should also use up this one, to be fair. So there should be some products that I can use up, which is great. Yeah, I'm going to call it quits there because I have to go feed my baby, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.